Hare Krishna, welcome back to Sankirtan, your hub for captivating Sankirtan stories, practical tips and tricks, and boundless inspiration from around the globe. Powered by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust and devotees like you, Sankirtan is created to support the Sankirtan movement globally and keep the transcendental sound vibrations going.
Every week, we have an episode that helps you connect with Srila Prabhupada's books by inspiring you to both read and distribute them. So let's get to it.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Sankirtan our BBT podcast that's meant to inspire and enthuse devotees to participate in book distribution. My name is Ranchor Das. I'm here today with Krishna Kumar Prabhu and Vishal Prabhu, who will be talking about the glories of Arabic book distribution and generally how we can keep our book distribution moving forward. So thank you, both of you, for giving your time and helping inspire devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so we'll just get started right away. Krishna Kumar Prabhu, can you just maybe briefly describe how you got into Krishna consciousness and specifically how you got into book distribution as a service?
Bhagavad Gita. I had a quarter life crisis. I was doing YouTube and I was transitioning to a film and acting career, and then I was ready to renunciate everything for the glory of being a famous movie actor, and then I had a panic attack. I was only 23. So then my best friend, he said I should read Bhagavad Gita. I didn't read Prabhupada's version, so it was mostly flowery language, but it still really inspired me, and I started reading other books from there. 6 months later, I came back to Bhagavad Gita, and I found in LA there was a Bhagavad Gita museum. So that's where I went, and it was closed, but I snuck in the temple. It was like the back doors opened, and there was beautiful paintings in New Dwarka temple, especially on the ceiling. They have, at the time I didn't know, but it's like a monk, like an avatar monk in flowing dress, and he's like walking through a jungle or walking through the town. And so if you're ever in New LA, you can check out the temple inside. And then this Mataji was there, and she was preaching to me, and while she was preaching, she manifested tears from her eyes. And because I was studying to be an actor, I thought it was so cool that she was crying like so naturally, and she was just glorifying the process mainly, and devotees, how merciful devotees are, and that touched me. So after that, I walked out and I had food at Govinda's, and back then it was all you can eat. I remember like really eating the like amount that was like, really refreshing, really tasty. And on the subway ride back, I actually felt my heart had like been cleansed, and I was feeling some bliss. It was like coming from my heart and down into my stomach. So that my mind just accepted that this was it, that I would have to explore further. Yeah.
Wow. So yeah. I guess you were impressed by the crying first, just because
devotees are always impressive.
Right? Yeah.
That was the most touching element. Right. Yeah, but then the prasadam and the experience of that was also like really purifying, and I experienced some internal experience.
It's also like beautiful in its own right, because it just goes to show the power of just being genuine. Mm-hmm. I guess this person wasn't like acting necessarily, they were just being themselves and speaking, and that touches people's hearts more than any sort of flowery stuff or any sort of extra things. It's just very simple. Regarding book distribution specifically, how did you how did you get involved in this service?
Mm-hmm. So, so I started coming to the temple, and like maybe a month and a half later, there was a couple of brahmacharis at the temple that I was attracted to, and I would start going to Mangalarti. Then, at the same time, I decided to re-enroll into college. So while I was in college, one day, the temple commander in LA is Brigupati Prabhu. He just asked if I wanted to go out. I was friends with this devotee named Jai Chaitanya, who was who's a really big book distributor, and we were friends. We could relate. He also produced music at the time, and he still does. And so we went out together with Brigupati Prabhu, and at the time I was still amongst young people, like college age kids, like recognizable as a influencer on the YouTube scene. So my my main experience, like early on, was we went to UC Irvine, and at some point, one person will go up to you, ask for a picture, and then someone will notice, oh, that person's taking a picture. He must be, some person. And then someone else will ask for a picture. But UC Irvine is like notoriously like second generation Asian, Indian, Persian school. Very diverse. A lot of minorities there. I don't know if they're called minorities in the West anymore, but basically there was like a line, and Brigupati Prabhu still brings up this incident, and it was so odd because I was distributing Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, which I had probably already read once and was rereading, so I was already like very attracted to Srila Prabhupada's words and respectful towards the book, but I would hand them the book and they would ask me if I could sign the book, and I felt really awkward. But I looked at Brigupati Prabhu. He just kind of shrugged and like nodded his head like, why not, so I started signing Bhagavad Gita as it is, because I don't think they knew what they didn't know much about what I was doing. They just were like, oh, I need something to sign, and then
Right.
So then, anyways, that was that was in 2014, 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then since then you've just been more steady and started to get.
It wasn't actually until 2.5 years ago I made it my full-time service.
Okay.
I took a break between then, but 2.5 years ago I made it my full-time.
Right. So in those 2.5 years, you've mainly focused on Arabic book distribution. I think personally for me, there's questions that I think would relate to the whole general devotee audience. But for me, growing up in the West, where the culture is very much trying to like respect other people's form of worship, and that's something that we as Vaishnavas also maintain. How do you feel? How do you build a mood towards distributing books in Arabic to Arabic speakers? How do you really reflect that mood so that it comes off not as necessarily like condescending, but more of out of compassion and genuine will for knowledge? I think generally book distribution always revolves around the mood in which it's done, and I feel like for Arabic books it can be easy for your mood to be misunderstood amongst your representatives, or sometimes maybe you could speak on that.
Thanks for the nice, thoughtful question. At first, the mood was my senior asked me to do this, and we'll see what happens. And when in Krishna consciousness, if you just desire to follow through on the Guru's instruction, the Super Soul or Krishna or Srila Prabhupada, something will happen. And for this Muslim Arabic preaching, something, some magic that happens. And so that magic was, I went to USC because I was doing college book distribution before I did Arabic books. And it just so happened that day, there was a group of Arabic Muslim students meeting up together before their Friday Junma prayers, which is like their main day of worship, Friday noon. And so I said, okay, wow, the first day I come out, I get to meet all these young Muslim students. And the talking was sweet. People were nice. And I'm just like you said, you want to put yourself in a mood which they respect or they appreciate. In America, not many people besides Muslims are into Muslims, into
Right.
Islam. So just having that slight interest because of this instruction I got made them really warm and affectionate almost. And then I talked to this Muslim female, and that's really where I realized the power of our preaching, which is, it was a pretty intimate discussion, dialogue, which culminated in, is God a person?
Right. That's the main difference.
That's the main
between us and
difference.
them, right?
That's what it boils down to.
Right.
And what it boils down to is that God didn't desire to reveal himself as a person in their traditions,
Right.
like Abrahamic traditions.
Right.
But because Mahaprabhu has come here and Srila Prabhupada has come to the West to open the doors, we're giving individuals access.
Right.
Now, if they're not ready to accept that they're a person and God is also personal,
Yeah.
then we don't have to force it. And essentially, we don't want to have them make any offense, right? So then I just, nowadays when I show them the Bhagavad Gita, if they're actually curious about the book, they'll first think, okay, is this a religious book? And if it is a religious book, why are there two people being like a movie poster? It's like, why are two people headlining the book?
The book, because their thing is that it's not about a person. It's all
religion should be about faith and not putting God in a imagining God in a form or something.
Right, yeah.
So then now I just said, oh, this is we used to be one ummah, and this is the king. He's just getting knowledge from his teacher. I make it really simple. This is if they ask who they, why is it? So that answers their question. It's we don't talk about it being a religion. We just say, we come from one ummah. That's in their Quran.
Right.
And ummah also means kingdom, basically. And we say this is the king, and he's. So that's my response to if they see the Bhagavad Gita and they're going, is this a religion, and why are there people on there?
Right.
Does that help?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I like the point that you made about, in America specifically, very few people give that warmth or give that interest in Islam. So just that alone kind of puts people's guards down, because we're trying to be genuine about it. I think that's one fear that it's a practical concern about differentiating the personal versus impersonal thing, but because Muslim and their tradition is mainly impersonal, so then helping clarify that makes a lot of sense.
Their qualification is that they appreciate knowledge, and their prophet emphasizes that throughout that one must seek knowledge. You have to have knowledge before religion.
Right.
If you just say knowledge is my key word, my buzzword,
Knowledge.
not like knowledge. And His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj, when I told him I was doing Arabic books, he said, just focus on knowledge.
Knowledge.
So that confirmed my...
How did you get this like cultural awareness about the Arabic community? Because this is like, it takes some like understanding of that community, and it's easy for us to go out and if we don't understand people, it's
Mhm.
difficult to distribute books to them, especially if
Mhm.
they're tied to an identity, like either like, oh, I'm of an Arabic background, I'm of a Chinese or whatever cultural background you
Mhm.
are.
So I'll let Vishal Prabhu also chime in on this. But how do we approach people?
I think you have to be sensitive and sensible.
No, just exactly how.
Exactly how?
Now,
Yeah.
pretend Ranchor Prabhu is a Muslim
Uh,
buyer, Arabic buyer.
well, when we
We rehearsed this. Just stick with the script.
we just ask in Arabic a couple of questions like Beka Beteke Arabic. So whether you first of all speak Arabic, and people like when, of course, you speak even a few phrases of their native language, and then we say hello, marhaba, and present the book, give them immediately Prabhupada's direct words, and usually on one of the books, the books we have, there's a little description, so they immediately get to hear they hold the book, they get to hear from Prabhupada directly. When they start asking questions, and this is what Krishna Kumar Prabhu taught me, is to avoid any type of triggers, like the word religion itself, even the word yoga can trigger somebody, because in Middle East there's a lot of conflicts between Christians, Muslims, Jews, Muslims, you name it. So when we preach, Krishna Kumar always tries to stick to the unifying concepts that go beyond the bodily edification. So like he said, one Umar, if they ask, this is religion, this is before religion. This is before there was even...
But we just say this is knowledge.
This is knowledge. Yeah, of course. This is knowledge. But if they ask if it's religion, this is way, way before religion. This is old.
Before Abraham.
Before Abraham. That's right.
We can even say like just before Abraham. That's an interesting point. I mean, for religion to be such a trigger there, because I mean, from their cultural background, it's quite challenging. That might be seen as very provocative.
It's like walking on a if you're trying to sell a book to a Muslim, you're walking on like a field of landmines.
A razor's edge, basically.
Yeah, you just, because anything, even the word meditation, will trigger most Muslims.
Why is that? Meditation specifically? Is that
because that's considered like a Buddhist, or that's considered like not something they do per se. You have to understand, even words trigger them.
right?
So it's not about the meaning or implicit meaning of something. It's just that the word, and and when you're trying to sell a book, they have their book, right?
Right.
So there's just a lot of things working against us to sell Prabhupada's book to them. And His Grace Satyanarayan Das Prabhu, who translated them,
Right.
he knows this. So he also, that's why showing the book and letting them, and turning to like the back cover, letting them read it. Okay, so Muslims respect books. Like when you go to colleges, most kids have an aversion for books.
To books, right?
But when you hand a Muslim, and usually in this preaching, it's older, like our parents' generation or grandparents' generation,
Right.
they actually they always grab the book and like, what's this? So they like books, and it just has to, then kind of go through the test. And
Right.
the conclusion is, oh, it's knowledge. We're right. We're something we can learn to appreciate or appreciate.
That's interesting. I know you also like distribute to a lot of other cultures as well.
Mhm.
And I think as America gets diverse and as ISKCON improves its outreach in a more diverse audience, it's important to understand, the cultural setting of people. Like in this case, knowing that words like meditation or yoga trigger like Muslims because they automatically put up a guard against it. Knowing the word religion triggers them.
So this is a funny. I mean, these things are all really funny when we actually. Uh, they'll see the word yoga because one of the
Right.
books is called
Perfection.
Perfection
Yeah,
Yoga,
yeah.
and they go yoga. They automatically have like an aversion to yoga, so they always go yoga. I go yoga means prayer. So you just use the word that they like and replace the Sanskrit word or the word that they uh, don't like. Meditation means prayer.
Their
They
whole
just
thing is
like
prayer,
prayer.
right?
Their whole thing is prayer.
Mm.
So you just take that and then put it in the thing they like. I mean, it makes them seem like very um, plain and simple, but that's
Right.
really the nice thing about a lot of these Muslims here in the West is that they're simple.
Right.
They're simple,
Yeah, they're very
pious
gentle
and
people,
simple. Yeah.
pious people. Yeah. Do you typically like first say like research? Like how do you even get to the point of like knowing what words trigger people, knowing what to replace with? Do you just do a lot of research? How do
You
you
just make a
understand?
lot of mistakes and pray to Krishna. That is right. I mean, I was doing this on my own for later on. A Prabhupada disciple named His Grace Amoglila, who started Hare Krishna movement in Pakistan.
Hmm.
He joined me on Shivaratri. It was a godsend, and we traveled most of the country together for 6 months, and
Right.
all of the cultural, like the things I say, like one umma or prayer instead of yoga. Actually, I just picked up these things from distributing with him, and more things than that. But basically, by his association, I got the mercy.
Hmm. That makes sense. Yeah, like just kind of sticking to what experienced devotees have learned rather than
That
relearning the
helps.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's one thing that we at the VBT are trying to emphasize when we, reach out to other cultures to share Krishna consciousness. We should be quite understanding of who they are.
Hmm.
Um, and that way we'll be able to connect with
Hmm.
them better. What would you say is your biggest realization or reflection for your personal life after, distributing Arabic
Hmm.
books?
Yeah, is to depend on devotees because I hit a a wall with this where I was like, I can't do this without really surrendering to um, uh, the right, the devotees that have helped me in my life, and also to the ones that have paved the way. You just realize you're not the doer, and
Mm,
that's what I appreciated the most about this is uh, just the knowledge one gets, applied knowledge, vigyan, and then the real appreciation you'll have for um, our Vaishnava teachers that are
mm.
so merciful.
Right. You have that. I mean, I guess in those situations, a lot easier for you to realize, yeah, like I didn't do this on my own. It was the
Mm-mm,
mercy of Guru and Krishna.
mm-mm, mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's wonderful. I do like how you brought up these cultural points and then also tie it to the fundamental principle of book distribution, which is dependence on Guru and Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, that's actually I think Vaisheshika Prabhu and a few other devotees went up and asked Srila Prabhupada how to train devotees, and he said you can do some things, but at the end of the day, just teach them to be sincere, teach them to depend
Mm-hmm.
on Krishna. Because that's
Mm-hmm.
that's in any circumstance, that's how it is. But it's wonderful to know that you've been able to experience that through Arabic books. I want to know that now you're continuing that outreach, but you're also focused kind of on helping helping make Sankirtan more sustainable, like different programs more sustainable with regards to like training, etc. Maybe could you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mm, mm, with Muslim preaching, you it's you're internally it's like it's warfare,
Right.
and religious preaching in general in the West, most devotees are intelligent enough to just avoid it. But some crazy uh, scenario happened where I went kind of full steam ahead for a year as a kind of knowingly as a austerity.
Right.
Um, so now I'm understanding that to progress, I need to have devotee association, and that's why Vishal Prabhu, who's here today, is like, if he wasn't here, I don't think I would be continuing in this service. So it just, and when we go out now, I, I let him know, like, I want to work off of you. I want to work with you. Like, we're doing books, but stay close to me. Like, we even got in a little bit of a argument because he was like getting a little fried out because we went with another book. There was three of us, and he was thinking, oh, but we could be getting books out, or maybe I'll let him comment a little bit.
Well, it was a couple days ago in Pittsburgh, and because I also have few boxes of English books, so I just wanted to get maybe a few of those by myself, and we had another book distributor with us also. So yeah, I ran off and did a couple of books by myself, and I felt like maybe if we split up, but in the end of the day, I think Krishna Kumar Prabhu is right. Whenever you have more people working together, you have much better results. It's like the potency is multiplied. So you can play off of each other as long as all of you are in the same mood of cooperation, and you're not tugging the blanket onto yourself. Like yesterday was a complete opposite of that day where we did not work well, where we both were super enthusiastic and trying to play it off of each other, and we did as many books in 5 hours as we did in 10 hours maybe before that. So, and it was just a fun time. It was good. It was
We passed the test. Yeah, we got
passed
the
the test.
results. Yeah, we
And,
passed the test.
yeah, this
Yeah.
little tension, maybe it was necessary. Krishna's arrangement.
That's a very important point, as I feel like the service of book distribution itself is inherently. And Prabhupada said, I think Rameshwar Prabhu was saying that there's a reason why he has the Mayapur Vrindavan festivals, and it's for everyone, but it's especially important for the book distributors because, they go out there and. I mean, I'm not. I'm trying. As I get more into book distribution, I can see. The world is It's really safe in the temple. You appreciate the safety of the temple until only when you go outside and see what is going on out there, and
That's
and
right.
and keeping yourself in good association and good cooperation helps. What do you feel like is the what do you think is like the biggest barrier for people to come together and cooperate?
Wow. I mean, I'm so pleased with what Vishal Prabhu said, and even just reflecting on it gives me a lot of joy.
Right.
Um, what are the barriers? It's the mind, really. The mind. The mind's the biggest barrier.
Right.
It's like you said, when we go out there, the modes are acting on us, and the mind just naturally just wants to get out, And if you if you if you can't like beat your mind
Right.
and say, actually, I'm gonna strictly make a vow or strictly follow an instruction that the spiritual master is giving or some realization, the mind's gonna win. The mind's gonna win. So you have to make some kind of strict vow. I'm gonna take shelter of Prabhu. I'm gonna make sure Prabhu is also getting benefit and that I'm working with him. It has to be strong. The mind has to be, especially when you're out on books.
Right. Like I think it's also a tendency to yeah, it's getting like so much stimulation already, and then sometimes you feel like, oh well, if I'm going with other people, like, oh, I prefer to do it a different way or something like that. But then just keeping with devotees more than anything else keeps you strong, right?
And I think in the West, especially, this desire to be independent it's very strong. Like in India, not maybe not as much, where they stick to groups much better. But here we have this is the American dream is to be fully independent, not to rely on Krishna.
I mean, not even just like the
That's a
American
good
dream.
point.
Like we're only in the material world wide because we want it to be independent of Krishna.
Yes, but even more so.
More so here in the
in
West.
in America. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, for those who are, trying to inspire a group of people, what would your advice be to them? Because I know there's a lot of devotees in situations where they have some friends who are, who are interested in book distribution, but there's some friction to get it to go together. What would you say to groups who are, they're interested, but they need some pushing to go out as a group together? How does it impact the group in terms of your own personal spiritual life?
Now I've noticed a shift that our generation of your generation, Prabhu,
Right.
they are being guided to take instruction from a more senior book distributor. So in LA, for us, it's Brigupati Prabhu. If you're on traveling Sankirtan, it's Parama Karuna or Parameshwar Prabhu. And so some kind of training where we see the results of taking guidance from someone, like just shadowing someone. If our mind actually gets tangible results, then the training has already happened or begun. But without that realization, the mind is so hard to beat.
Right. Yeah, I think even for me personally, when I was first starting books, I had that desire. I want to have this independent, like, oh, I want to try and figure out my own method. It's that independence there. Then I listened to Vaisheshika Prabhu's method the first time. I watched like an online video, and I was like, okay, well, let's try this. Like, I'm not doing that great on my own, and I start to see the results because it works.
Perfect.
Being very surrendered, I think, just helps generally with that.
Yeah. All goes to His Grace Vaisheshika
Yeah,
Prabhu.
to Vaisheshika Prabhu. Yeah, but I'm glad that this mood of like cooperation is present. How important do you think this mood of cooperation amongst the devotees is important for the sustainability of the Sankirtan movement? Like, do you think this is something that every program needs to inculcate?
Every program, you mean even beyond book distribution? Outside of book distribution?
Well, even like, I mean, that also, but even like, programs that are like more congregation based, how do really inculcate that mood of cooperation? Obviously, it's probably important, but what would you say is the best advice for inculcating the mood of cooperation amongst Sankirtan devotees?
Maybe I can try to answer this question. My Gurudev, he has an article about how whenever there's an issue and it's talked about, this issue slowly becomes resolved. So cooperation it comes from humility. So it comes from realization that I'm very small, I'm not the center of anything really, and I have to work with others. So, and when we continuously bring it up and talk about it, and there's research about it, actually, and that's what Mahatma Prabhu, my Gurudev, you can find articles on humility on his website. That's what he says. So you bring it up continuously in your Bhagavatam class, in your discussions, and slowly you introduce this culture.
And so, yeah, that last point, it's a culture. Like, when you ask me that question, my mind knows all the reasons it doesn't work out,
Right.
So I don't feel qualified to even like say I know how to make it work.
Right.
It's a culture. It's a culture.
Just that I think everything at this point, it's a lot
But
of the
but
problems
if you think about it, even in other institutions, the culture amongst cops, door-to-door salesmen, Mormons, they figured out some culture within their institution. Now we're a new institution, so there's still a lot of room for growth.
right.
But the culture works even within other, like police, and
Right.
so so there's definitely it'll definitely happen.
Yeah, that's very positive and very uplifting, and great to hear that, it's culture shift is difficult, but it's not impossible. I think also, like, just in my experience, sometimes culture is one of the hardest things to tackle. So we say, oh, let's just try everything else, but culture is the root of everything else. If you
Mm,
have a good culture, other problems will fade away.
mm.
Bad culture, it's difficult for that. Um, I mean, both of you, thank you for your time. Do you just have any like parting words for those who are trying to, really take a new step into their book distribution, whether it's to go out for the first time or to go out on Arabic books, or even just if they're not a lot of Arabs in their region, like just a new culture. What would you say to them about their mood?
Okay. Since you asked, um, for me, Arabic books was the way I found myself and found made myself useful, and um, so book distribution will allow for that for anyone. That's so utility is a principle. If your mind's saying, well, I can't do it, I can't do it, uh, I don't have the humility, then don't be humble about it. Just use book distribution to get you to a place where you can be, feel the effects, right? Like what devotees talk about, the nectar of book distribution, this ultimate yagya. So that's my advice. Use it then. Don't try to be humble about it. Use it. Use
Right.
book distribution, and then you'll get to a place where you realize, okay, it's practical. It makes sense. It works. But if you're not feeling it, use it. I had to use it. I had to abuse it
Right.
and realize, okay, no, actually, I'm a servant. But that's what it took my mind. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we feel like, oh, we're not qualified for service, but how are we going to get qualified if we don't do the service?
Mm.
We have to put ourselves at it in order to get to a position of, yeah, like, this is like, even if we're not there, we should do it just so that we can
I
get
broke
there.
all the rules, is what I'm saying. And then I realized, okay, these are things I have
Right.
to sustain it, is to
To get there. Yeah.
to get there. Keep it
Right.
as what
Consistent.
is.
Get as much training as possible. There's a series by Navina Nirada Prabhu. He also it's on YouTube. It's 25, maybe 30 hours of Sankirtan, and he has done it all over the world. So there's videos there of Bhakti Prabhu doing it, the videos of His Grace Vasheshka Prabhu, and also he came out with a book. If you can't find somebody else to come out with, so it's always easy, especially at the beginning, to go out with a partner, and only if you can't, you go by yourself. So, but once you get to a point where if you don't go out, you want to punch a wall, then you can't go out by yourself, and why not? You go out and do it without a partner. But
We
it
just
takes
met
a
a
while.
kid in Pittsburgh, and he was reading Navina Narada's book, and he felt that association just by reading his book. And also Vijay Prabhu, he has a book called Treasures of Brihat Mridanga. So
There we go.
if you're inspired by a devotee, and that's also some spiritual association. So is that helpful?
Yeah, that would be a great start.
Yeah. And,
Those books.
and Vaisheshika Prabhu's book, Our Family Business, is now being turned into a course. Like our team, the BBT team, has been creating some book distribution trainings. We have some videos, and really trying to push that aspect, because I mean, even Lord Chaitanya during the Gundicha margin of the cleaning of the Gundicha temple, when some people really good at cleaning and others not so good, he told the people not so good to learn from the better ones. And so like that's part of our mood. We should learn from those who are more senior.
That's right.
And go with other devotees. But thank you thanks to both of you for your time. And best of luck in all your Sankirtan endeavors, and
Hare
hopefully
Krishna.
all of us can grow together. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada ki
Ki
jai.
jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Sankirtan On. For more resources, visit us at www.distributebooks.com. See you next episode, and remember, carry on, together strong, Sankirtan On.